Alright everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video I'm going to be going over the trade that I took here yesterday, which was this kind of bottom reversal from market structure demand, and how I kind of messed up on my profit taking and how you could improve that as well. Looking at certain conditions, looking at what price is doing, and then coming up on the spot with a new plan for your take profit when you see that price is changing and doing certain things. So let's get right into the video. Alright, so I entered this trade right over here using the order flow, which we'll get into in a minute. We had this market structure of demand where strong buying came in, so I was looking at that area to look for a retrace if sellers were going to get trapped and weaker again to then take that long, and that's exactly what happened. But first of all, let me go on the higher time frame and show you which is this green box over here. Right, so this was yesterday, the pre-market. This is how it looked. It was uptrending, all right, and we had this little 30-minute demand zone slash support area, if you want to extend it over here, kind of a support area. So I was watching if price pulled back there, if those same buyers wanted to defend again, and they did. So this was the most significant area for me to buy from at this day, on this day. So let's go back to the lower time frame. So now we can go over what I saw to actually take the market long and how I messed up a little bit on profit taking and how I basically missed out on 2 to 3R. Because as you saw, I entered right over here with a 3-point stop loss, took my first partial over here, and the other contract was stopped out break even. So I missed basically, this was a 2R partial already. So I got 2R just on this partial. So if I went full out, that would have been 4R. And if I would have gotten out here, that would have been a little bit more. But anyway, let's get into the confirmation. So we came into our area of demand slash support on the higher time frame with heavy selling, right? Heavy selling, and then suddenly it stops right at our level. And then we consolidate a little bit, but then this massive amounts of buying come in right over here and pushes the price up, breaks these highs. So in my mind, buyers are kind of getting in control and they're getting some power to push price to the upside. So then I wait for retraces and I wait for price to pull back into this area, like structure area right over here on top of these highs, right over here, where buyers were able to absorb all of the selling and then come in strong with aggressive buying as well, to then lift the market higher. So let me explain this to you in like more of a visual way. So you had all of this heavy selling right over here, that's all able to push price down lower, right? But then at our area of demand, 30-minute demand and structure or support, this is where the sellers get absorbed and they are not able to push price down lower. That to me is telling that there's a passive buyer sitting here absorbing all of that selling, and at the same time there's aggressive buying stepping into the market, then push price higher up above these highs, which is then telling me, okay, the buyers are getting some strength, and this is a very good area to look for potential more trapped sellers, especially with this bid over here. This bid is sitting here, this strong big outlier in positive delta is here, all of the sellers are getting trapped, and you see this structure high. This is where I'd like to see price bounce from. So if we pull back here, this is a very key area where I would look for buyers to step in again. I would not like for a pullback towards the lows, because that to me is already telling me that the buyers are not strong enough to hold these prices and hold a higher low. So this is a perfect area where I would like to look for longs and not at the lows. Now look anywhere here and put my stop loss below this big delta outlier. That's exactly what I did. And let's go over the bookmap now, how it looked in real time. So right now we're consolidating a little bit over here while after we pushed price higher above these highs. Now we get that aggressive drop right into our level. Not yet, it hasn't touched it yet. So you just gotta stay patient here and trust that these zones are going to work out. There's going to be moments where this zone doesn't get tapped and price just flies away, and that's totally fine. Like maybe you missed that setup then, or maybe you can get in on a different way. But for me, I've seen that this is the best confirmation that I've seen work out so far. You take that consolidation range, you can take the top of it, and then you draw the box right over there after price pushed out above it. And that's the zone you want to look for. That's that market structure demand that I look for. So now price is pulling back, and this bid is still sitting here at the 46, right? And here you see that aggressive drop of sellers. Let me slow it down now. This is a real-time speed. You see that aggressive drop, and price doesn't go down further anymore. You see that we dropped very aggressive over here. We filled that bid, and then price stops here, right over here at the 44s. And then we start going up a little bit, consolidating. Sellers try once more to break this low, but they're unable. And then the heavy buying starts stepping in. And that's exactly where I got long here at the 45.50s. Because these sellers tried breaking down, they were unable to. Buyers start stepping in a little bit more. Sellers try to break down once more, but they're not even able to break below this low. And the selling gets much smaller. Like if I stay here on the time frame that I actually look for entries, there's not even any selling at the low here, and then aggressive buying starts stepping in. And I see that there's no heavy selling at the low because there's no big red bubble. So The selling is getting smaller, is getting trapped, and then as soon as heavy buying and aggressive buying starts stepping in, that's where I get long here at the 45.50s, as you can see here on the chart. And then I was targeting first anywhere around VWAP and these highs. That's why I took my first partial. But my mistake was not seeing the conditions and adapting to those conditions in real time. So my trade literally went to VWAP with a 13 to 14 point move on 3 points of risk in like 3 minutes. As you can see here on the chart, I'll show you right now. This is literally 3 1-minute candles, and I took my partial already. And I could have gotten fully out over there as well because of all of that selling from market open. It was a little bit greedy for me to maybe put my target past that, because yeah, that selling can still come in and reject price, and that's exactly what it did. Every time price came to VWAP, it rejected perfectly, like once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5, 6 times, 7, 8, 9 times it came to VWAP, and every single time it got sold into and rejected. So yeah, for me, I took my first partial, which is alright, and then we pulled back and we had some selling coming in, and I think this is where it happened here. I took my first partial, then we had that pullback. We break above these highs again with heavy buying, and that to me led still thinking that price would maybe go even higher above high day. But I think here it's still too early to even see that VWAP is still getting sold, and I could have maybe realized it right over here and stopped being greedy to think that we're gonna break above these highs. So I should have maybe just put my take profit right over here at VWAP to get out of my last contract and then take home a 4-hour trade instead of a 2-hour. But it is what it is. I made that mistake of not really adjusting and analyzing the current market conditions, and that's totally fine. But it is a mistake, and I'm going to take that into my next future trades to not get greedy, and especially if I take such a good trade and it rallies to my target straight away, but then it starts rejecting over there, and I'm in my head, I still want that high day. Nothing sure that is going to happen, and I should have just seen that VWAP got rejected 4, 5, 6 times already over here, and then just put my target at VWAP again to get out of my remaining contract. That's just a greed that came in a little bit. It is what it is, but it was still a very nice trade. Let me just recap it real quick. So we had that massive drop from the market open right over here, drop with aggressive selling right into our area of market structure demand on the higher time frame on the 30-minute, and that was also support level. That selling stops out of nowhere. A lot of bids got filled over here. Then that selling gets trapped. Some buying starts stepping in, but then this massive buyer here comes in very aggressively and pushes price up to the upside, breaks some structure here on the order flow, and that to me, that tells me that sellers here got absorbed, they're getting weaker, and that aggressive buying is stepping in and willing to pay those prices at that support level. And then once we pull back, these bids are getting filled. Heavy selling came in, but is not able to push price lower below this structure level over here where this big buyer was as well. This big buyer probably defended, and then on that second pullback, there was weaker to almost no selling that was not able to break below this low. And then as soon as aggressive buyers started stepping in, I got in here long at 45.50, targeting first VWAP, and yeah, that's where I messed up a little bit on my targets, but it's totally fine. And this to me is like a textbook A+ setup where you have a significant support or demand level. Buyers react from it first, create this area of market structure demand on the lower time frame or the order flow, create this, pushes price up higher, you wait for that retrace, you see trapped and weaker selling, and then you take that long. That's like an A+ setup for me. Always very clean execution in the right conditions, of course. And then the most important thing you got to do is set the right targets and not get greedy with it. But yeah, this is overall an A+ setup. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments or questions about how I view the charts, or how I view the order flow, or how I come up with these levels, or how I get sniper entries like this, let me know in the comments, and I'll be sure to get back to you. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.